Hey everybody, guess who? Oh my gosh, it's Monday and I'm double dipping on you. That's right, we're staying super duper today with SimplySuperDave. How are you doing this Monday evening? I hope you're doing pretty well. Hope everybody survived their Monday. I hope everybody enjoyed the earlier podcast, the earlier episode from today where I kind of let it just kind of go. And it felt really good. And so I was thinking on my ride home about bringing up a nice little thing for you to think about, because probably not going to hear this podcast until tomorrow if you listen on the daily. But either way, when you do hear this podcast, here's a nice little thought to have. Whatever happened to, I think about when I talk about our country on this podcast, I have a thought in my head, but when I begin to speak through the podcast, I really analyze everything I say as I'm saying it, which is why I pause sometimes, because I'm like, maybe that's not the way I want to go, really. But with this one, I am sure about what I want to go. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that what I'm about to say is labeled politically, and is the reason why we'll never get there. Plus, the way the whole world system is set up goes against how our country's government is set up, even though it is conforming to the rest of the world's governmental ways, which is exactly the opposite of what we want it to do. Now, here's the hard part about our wonderful economy and our government system is because it is worked in reverse, where people is in control of government, even though they have brainwashed everybody to think that they're in control of you. But really, you're in control of your government. You really are. You're a rare country on this planet where government isn't over people, but people over government. Now, the rest of the world, China, Russia, any other country, pick it, England even, all right, all government over people, okay? Japan, I name one, and that Australia, again, all of them. But even Canada, Mexico, you name it. America is different, and that's the reason why we've always been a monkey wrench in the ways, because it was like the good guys won for a change. When you look throughout history, it's always about slavery and people being, fighting and getting there or whatever. And finally, a country was established during a very bad time where all this stuff doesn't exist. Freedom, for example, it was something you literally had to die for. Okay, see Braveheart, my top favorite film of all time. If you checked out the top 10 countdown, I'll spoil it for you real quick. Braveheart's number one, but because I love the essence. This is not even about America. It's about Scotland, but the essence of the story is there, because that's an instinctive way to feel, to have that freedom and to take it for granted. And when it's almost stripped away from you, or you start thinking about life where you don't have the say-so in just certain basic aspects that you've never questioned before, then you start realizing what is going on around here. And it's because our government is convinced our society, the American people, that they're in charge of the American people. That is not how it is. No matter what they try to tell you, I don't think we have gone past the point of no return. I still think there's hope. So I make these podcasts and I bring these things up because I'm not trying to be political. I'm not at all. I fucking hate politically correct bullshit. All right? I really do. I get why, because you want to evolve and make our speech and our way that we communicate with people more respectful. I get that. But I'm a love and laughter kind of guy. Laughter being a big key part, because laughter is what brings people together. When you bring up any topic, sensitive or not, and everybody laughs, that means everybody gets it. That's a combining moment. That's a moment where people come together, and that's why I love comedy. That's why when I talk, I rant, I rave, because I know people kind of laugh at me about it. But can you disagree with me? Am I wrong in how I feel? So my question is, where are our inspirational leaders to bring forth the message, to promote the American dream of freedom? The dream that we picked up from other places and we made it better because we evolved. I mean, to get it right off the bat, to the fact that 200 plus years later, almost 200 years later, to the day almost maybe, I don't know, but we're MLK Jr., Martin Luther King Jr. Love Martin Luther King Jr. I love everything he spoke about, because I know that he was speaking for his people, his race, but he saw the bigger picture, because he didn't want to talk about race ever again. He didn't want it to ever be an issue, period. And that was the dream. And we're not there yet, because main media and what you see and ingest on a daily basis is all racially inspired shit. Is it really? And now it's gotten so brainwashed with TikTok and everything. Just watch it, because if you watch one video, it's going to push the algorithm where you're going to get all kinds of videos about the same content. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like your smartphone knows you better than you. No, your smartphone knows how to program you better than you. If you show interest in something, it will push you that way. But in the way of pushing it all to you, which sounds great because you get content you're interested in, but you never get new content. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like they're narrowing you down with blinders based on who you are, but keeping you within the box. I don't know. Call me crazy, and I might just be. I probably am. I feel, wait a minute, I have discharge papers from the military that says I am. But so was Robin Williams. Seriously. I think he was clinically actually diagnosed nutty. But it is what it is. I'm not Robin Williams by any stretch of the imagination. No way whatsoever. Touched on him before in a previous podcast. I don't want to repeat myself, but he's a true legend. But he's one of those voices where I thought, you know what? They made a movie where he would have ran for president and he would have won. I would have voted for him. I would vote. Look, that's the only. Look, I'm not going to say it anymore, but when you go vote, don't pick Republican. If it's got an R or a D by their name, just skip over them and pick the next guy. You don't even have to know them. It doesn't matter as long as they're not an R or a D. I guarantee you they'll do the job 100% better than either one of those other two professional politicians. Okay, get that out of your head, folks. It's like a victim's mindset. Okay, I watch people constantly get completely. Here I am. I'm doing it again from this morning, but I can't help it. I hear people talking about the problems, but they're not doing anything about it. They go in and they get fucking beaten again, and then they go right back to them, you know? Like, what the hell are you thinking? Why would you go back to someone that constantly just beats you down, you know, mentally or physically? I don't care which. Both can be just as damaging. The physically, it comes along with mental, so that's worse. But mentally, it's just as bad. I mean, you know, this world that we live in is more of a mental battle than it is a physical one in life. There used to be times where every day you got up and you told your loved ones, I love you. I'll see you later on this evening. Because you went out to the woods, you had to forge and shit like that because you had a log cabin built. You know, I'm talking about like 100 plus years ago when you had to build your own shit and live and survive. Because every day, I think his name Seth Rogen. Is it Seth Rogen? Seth MacFarlane made a movie about the Old West, and you can die. There's like 8 million ways you can die. There still is 8 million ways you can die. But back then, you used to say, I love you in the morning because you didn't know if you were going to come home that night. You know, there was no way once you left that they weren't going to know anything about you until you came back 12 hours later or whatever. You know, hopefully sooner, and that you kill a deer and you get to come on back. Oh, don't worry about the animals. Back then it was about natural progression with our human race back in the day was more integrated with nature by doing those caveman activities than it is today, where it's just about us living outside of nature, which I love my digital age as well, but I can remember the distinct different part of my life where I was more connected without the digital, technology. And that seemed a little bit more fulfilling. You know what I mean? But this is addictive. It is addictive. You get to talk to so many people. You get to broaden your imagination. It's a mental battle. It really is. Like I said, everything can either be a tool or a weapon. It just depends how you use it, folks. I don't believe that social media should be used to air out dirty laundry, to personally attack anybody. Maybe talk about the lesson from the situation without giving the details, because overall, that is the most important thing that we pull out of any situation that we go into or go through, is the lesson that you get out of it or what you learned from it. That's what people are listening to the whole story for anyway. Whenever someone tells a story about something that happens to them, they would like to see, how did this turn out? How did this, how did you do afterwards? Are you okay? Kind of things. I mean, they want to know, that's the important part, because we all learn from each other's experiences. What they do that helps them to get through it may be something that they could do to help them get through it when they go through it. We all go through things. I think we all go through the same things. We just don't go through them at the same time. No matter how bad or fucked up your situation may be, to the point where you don't think anyone understands you, that is a lie. Everybody understands you. They just may not have gone through it yet. But you talk to the older generation, and most of the time, they have probably either gone through it at some point. Because life is hard for everybody. Every day, you are guaranteed that there's a chance that you might not come home that day. Now, it's different now. You're connected to everybody, no matter where you go. So it ain't like nobody won't find out, or you won't die in the woods and then, well, Paul didn't come home today. I don't know what we do. It's different today. But the chances are greatly lessened that that something will happen to you when you go out today. So we go out with a little bit more confidence. And like I said, it's more of a mental battleground out there today than it is a physical one. A lot of jobs are based on just how much information you can process through that brain of yours. And a lot of physical labor jobs takes a talented mental mind to do the jobs. I mean, carpentry looks easy until you try to build something, and then you realize that I'm not good with numbers. This is not going to turn out well. I'm just saying, folks, everybody is talented in a different way. And if we lived in a great society of great leaders where countries were built like ours, then maybe society wouldn't be so revolved around money and power. Because those are the two things that oh yeah, that's a B-52 bomber, in case you're wondering. If you can hear that. That is what freedom sounds like. I'm a big Second Amendment fan, and I don't even own a gun. Okay? Again, another beautiful, brilliantly written right that they have brainwashed you to hate. Okay? You don't have to own a gun or be a gun supporter to understand the importance of a people arming themselves against their own government. That's all I'm saying, folks. That law wasn't written in there just so you can have a gun to go hunting with. That's just an excuse. I'm sorry, but I think it's a good argument, because hunting is a way of life, no matter what creature you are on this planet. But the overall importance of that Second Amendment right is to make sure that freedom is guaranteed in this country. Like I said, because people is over government, don't discount your military, folks. There are going to be people that remember who they serve. And hopefully they're high-ranking people, But that's a different topic for a different day. I love my military. I love them so much. It takes a certain type of person to sacrifice the rights that you have as a citizen in this country, to serve time, to protect the very freedoms that everybody else seems to take for granted these days. Just think about it, folks. Be proud. If you're listening to this and you're an American, or you live in a country where people are over government, go to bed tonight knowing that you're sleeping better than any other person in any other country. Think about it. And people in other countries that have it the other way around, I feel bad. But the more you speak up, the more unified we get behind the thought of being free as a society, maybe we can live in a society where everybody got up every day and went and did what they are really good at, whatever it is, whatever they're really good at, the job they love the most. Just got up and went and got it, That's what everybody did every day. Think about how much further we would be as a society. And here's the payoff. Everybody gets the same shit. I believe in true equality, folks. And that's called socialism or communism or whatever it's called. Or I really don't know. But that's in countries based on government over people. In my country, where it's people over government, that's called Star Trek. I'm telling you, folks, there is such a wide open world to be in where we could be happy and not feel like we're in a corporate system of slavery. Think about that one right there. You think slavery's over with. History has not ended on the slavery topic. Just because they made it politically correct for you not to talk about it and found a way to censor your raw, true thoughts on things. Just remember, you don't have to accept that label of being PC. You can just be people correct instead of politically correct. I hope I gave you some stuff to think about tonight. And remember, when I ask, where are those leaders, those inspirational voices we need to lead the masses into the night? In no way am I referring to myself. I believe that if we all speak out, that someone would step up to the plate. Someone on a platform, someone with the tout, to echo the message that we're all in this together. And we all see now the truth in all the lies. It's time we find a shepherd, someone to lead us. We need our Moses. We need someone to part the Red Sea of information and find the path to the truth of where society needs to head to next. I think it's a wide spectrum, and I'm tired of living in history's past. And I'm tired of carrying history's mistakes. The great part about what established our country and the way the Constitution was written, it was written in a way of a futuristic design. The founders knew they would never see the fruition of what their Constitution would eventually make the country become. But they knew it was set in motion to where we are now. And we're not even probably halfway there yet. We still got a long way to go to find the definition of true equality that embraces freedom. Because, folks, I guarantee you, when you get up and you're not chasing some goals that were set before you, but instead goals that you set before yourself, you will be much happier in what you do. I know that's what I'm striving for, And I haven't obtained that yet myself. But maybe one day the dream will be accomplished, where I don't have to go outside and worry about who will I offend today, but who will I befriend today. Love and laughter is the only way to conquer hate and fear. So go be a conqueror tomorrow, folks. Don't be a victim, especially to your own self. SimplySuperDave, out.